Question, is this normal?
You are not kidding, are you?
This is a pretty hardcore origin story.
Holy fuck! That was diabolical!
All right, Combies. Welcome back to the Honeycomb Hideout. I'm your host, your Simp Master Thirst King, Joe Kane. And with me this time, thankfully, is our Scientist Supreme, my co-pilot, co-conspirator, collaborator, and Chaos Goblin. Because, goddamn it.
Yeah.
We have Christine Kitchens.
I'm trying really hard to keep my giggles inside.
Why? Why are you doing that?
I'm trying to like build up. I'm trying to build up anticipation, and if I'm giggling in the corner, it's not going to work as well. So I'm good.
Giggle containment failing.
Oh man, that could actually be a sound bite.
I'm giggling on the inside.
Okay, so this is just going to be the soundbite episode. All right. And of course, as y'all have noticed on video and in audio at this point, we have some of our homies in Madros Workshop in with us today. We have, of course,
Don't do it. Don't
Waffle Daddy!
Yeah.
Oh, no!
Waffle Daddy himself,
Shots
Nick
fired.
Emmadi.
Tunnel eat bell!
Can we not have an episode where there's shots aren't fired in the first 5 minutes?
I don't
Can't
think so,
we be
Nick.
civilized
No.
about this?
Yeah,
You rat bastard.
I don't think
Oh, that looked like a bell.
I don't think civility exists within the DNA of the Honeycomb Hideout.
No, it does not.
I mean, you
I
were with us in Volume 1, son.
That's true. I also feel like I was lured here under false premises. Something about cookies. Serves me right for not reading the message.
Wookiees with cookies. What it
And,
was.
and of course, as y'all already recognize, the old Dark Himalaya.
Blackie Jones in this motherfucker.
You know what it takes to
Mark
get him out of the
Dudley.
lab in December? He goes into hibernation in the lab.
Goddamn right.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but we got him out here. And of course, it had to be the most shit-talkingest episode to get him out here on.
Well, okay, fair enough.
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and get right into this one, y'all, because I get the impression that folks got some shit to say.
I don't know. I was trying to be civilized about this, but then, if we doing this, then yeah, let's rag on Mark.
Yeah, no, me first though. Everybody, shut the fuck up.
But setting things up a little bit, we're going ahead and revitalizing our old hot pot format into something a little more problematic. Friendships might be ending tonight, y'all.
Get your knuckles off the ground.
Yeah, I was trying to decide if I should bring the BuzzFeed quizzes or not this time, but next time.
BuzzFeed has ended so many relationships.
Right? Right. But yes, we are talking about hot takes because, Lord Almighty, we are in the fuck around and find out era, and a lot of motherfuckers been fucking around, and a lot of motherfuckers been finding out. So we are here to discuss many of them this evening.
Ah, fantastic.
Ain't it just? Ain't
Right.
it just?
Who's done what now?
So we're gonna go ahead and let the Chaos Goblin at the reins.
All right, y'all.
Let's put our shield up right quick.
Wait. Why did you turn towards us?
Yeah,
What does that
Because
mean?
I needed to see the look in your eyes.
Oh, that's what a serial killer says before they plug a knife in. I want to see the look in their eyes as it goes out.
All right. Okay. So this is a point that I've come to after much discussion. But so the kink term daddy is actually a gender neutral term.
What?
Yep.
Also, I wonder who came up with that one.
Oh shit!
Wait, what?
I have my suspicions.
No. So let me tell you the genesis of this revelation. Is So I was hanging out with my friends Chris and Nancy, and we were in the kitchen joking around, and like you do with all your friends, you make lewd jokes just casually, no big deal. But
Yeah.
Yes. And Nancy was cooking like these like sweet potato cinnamon puff things that were delicious.
Ah, yes. Oh, yeah,
And-
the sweet potato puffs.
Yeah, the
yes.
sweet potato puffs. And
They had a lot of butter in them,
they
didn't they?
had a lot of butter
Yeah,
in
they
them.
did.
And
Yeah,
you
they
know, and
did.
Nancy turns around and is like, "Do you want me to put this in your mouth?" And like that would start. See, these are the looks I was looking for. And I started to say like, yeah, daddy. But then I was like, I like literally stopped and paused, and they could see the confusion on my face. And they were like, "Did it break you?" I was like, "No, I was starting to say, yeah, daddy," but then Nancy is a woman, and I'm like, does this still apply? What is the gender neutral term for that? Because like, mommy is like way different energy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so we talked about this, and apparently, after polling several people, both in the apartment at this time and in my own home, apparently, daddy is considered a gender neutral term. For example, that's right. I'm not done with my thesis statement yet.
Damn right.
Of course, the Scientist Supreme has facts to back things
I
up.
do. So, in the all-important resource in this situation, which is UrbanDictionary.com,
Of course it is.
says that under the definition of so daddy is when something is especially good or beneficial to you. Yo, that party last night was so daddy. And that's actually the only definition that's on here.
Fucking wild.
But yeah, after some exploration for finding other gender neutral alternatives, which we came across, like Rennie was a weird one. But no,
Goddamn.
that seems to have been largely rejected on the Reddit threads, and instead, daddy reigns supreme as the gender neutral term.
I mean, I've seen movies where I've, obviously characters where ladies go, "Who's your daddy now?" I'm like, okay, if you're going to use it like that, that's fine. I mean, that's the context of.
An argument is contextual. Context is all what matters,
Yeah.
really.
I
would
just
say.
want to know, are these people going to pay some child support? All this daddying around here.
I mean, it's like
Let the coach know.
it's like back in the day.
That individual right there, that's a daddy. She is a daddy.
It's like back in the day when if like a girl or a lady kind of pinned you down and say, "Say uncle, say uncle." It's like you're not going to say auntie. Like what? No, it have a different vibe. So you say uncle. It's like a
Yeah.
any woman can use. It's a term
Or
of like
guy. Guys,
it's
use
like
that
submission. It's like
nowadays,
say
too.
it, say it, uncle. That's right.
Yeah, see. Okay, so y'all are agreeing with me the more we're saying this, right?
I mean, I
See,
can
but
see it. I
then
can see the justification
but
for
I
it.
also think of my grandfather, right?
Uh-oh.
And they be like, "Who's your daddy?" My grandfather, the first one popping in my mind. I'm like, "You are definitely not my daddy.
Oh no.
I have a friend out there, and
Your chin ain't nappy enough."
the funniest thing is seeing a bunch of Indian guys saying. One of our friends said this, like, "Who's your dad?" And he actually said his dad's name. And he said like in the perfect, like native Indian language, like he just said it out, and we just bust out laughing. He's like, "Who's your dad?" He says he just said his dad's name. We're like, "I'm not ready for that." He's like, "Oh,
That feels like some low key shit that you play when you're couch co-oping in a game and you want to fuck up the guy next to you. Oh yeah, who's your dad? Oh, Tupac.
yeah." He just said his dad's name, and we all know the guy because we all grew up together. So we just all start bust out laughing because we were like, "Yeah, I mean, damn, he answered it."
That'd be one way to fuck up a
That's
fighting game
called
tournament.
Being obtuse, my friend,
Yeah.
or not getting your ass out the house.
Although, because that does have really interesting ramifications because
Mm.
what we're suggesting is that when you're being aggressive and basically, fucking topping a motherfucker,
Yeah.
that's daddy energy, that's masculine energy,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of unfortunate because it's like if you call somebody your mommy,
Mhm.
very, very different things going on. Like you said,
Yep.
you don't say auntie or anything like
Mhm.
that.
Not bad
Yeah.
things, though. Not bad things at all.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, you're not gonna talk shit to your mom. Like right now, I'm just saying, like, can I talk shit to my mom? It's like, no.
Just talk shit to your mom. Get the fuck on out of here.
No. I argue with my mom.
Oh!
I use logic with my mom.
Oh, that's what they
It
call
devolves
it
into
now.
violence, which me being violent, me being hit. That's what that is.
I'm always for his mom doing something evil to him. That makes my entire fucking month.
Well, maybe it's because you support the short tyrants.
I mean, isn't that kind of the imperative of all Indian mothers out there? Isn't it? Like-
Yeah.
You don't do enough to him.
And here's the thing. So when we're talking about like dominant force, like in reality though,
Mhm.
moms wield all the power
Oh, absolutely.
in the house, in the culture. It's like mom's going to sit the bitch saying like, hey, Dad, what should we do? I don't know. What's your mom want? Oh, way to go. Just
I mean, like,
just abdicate
yeah.
power. Why don't you?
I mean, that's the funny thing, bringing that up. Even back during the days of, the quote-unquote nuclear family, the stay-at-home mom era, as one might consider it.
We black. I never seen that.
Yeah, no, we really never did either. But during those quote-unquote times, even in the popular conscience, the mother who was staying at home handling the household held all the power, despite the fact that she just ran the household and the father went out and brought home all the money and all that jazz.
She balanced the books.
Yeah, she basically still ran everything.
Yeah.
Even if she wasn't leaving the house.
The corporation known as the home was run by a mom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then how come society never made its way to who's your mommy then? Like, why?
Oh, it got there, but it's a whole different thing.
Well,
It's a whole different thing.
Well, you got to remember, patriarchy. I mean
patriarchy.
I mean that's the ultimate thing. That's why Daddy has strong masculine tendencies.
All right, if we're really doing this, then I have to voice something that I've been hiding in the shadows for a long time.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Nick, are you a daddy?
No, God no, and I never will be. 2, this is a conspiracy by the women because women are the ones that keep culture going. So they put us in the front, and they operate in the shadows with the real power. Women have the real power. They're like, yeah, put the dumb men in the front with the toxic masculinity, and we're going to dump on them.
Yeah.
Put a battery in his back.
Yeah. They pull the strings in the background. It's like, yeah, no, we're just women. We have no rights. You're right. It's toxic
What
males.
are you doing with that remote control?
I'm like,
I don't have no remote
like, wait a minute.
control.
There are more women on the planet.
Yeah.
They mature faster.
Yeah.
There are all these advantages,
Uh-huh.
and yet it's the me man, me strong, me going to be up front. I'm like, who's behind you? Nothing. Don't look behind the curtain.
Women be like that. They'll be like,
It's the lady behind the curtain.
I've been wrong. Go and destroy that man's entire village and burn his dog. Why? Because I feel wrong.
And if you want to, and actually the funniest thing is, I just remembered a pop culture reference for that. 300. Leonidas looked to his wife
Gorgo
before
was
he
like
kicked
this.
before
Go
he kicked
and
that
kill
motherfucker.
all of them.
Yeah.
Make sure you
Yep.
kill.
Sparta kicked his ass out the door.
Yep.
And make sure you murder all they
Shadow
monkeys too.
power.
That's true. I do like the idea that, the whole who's your daddy thing is just a charade and really
You dang a little carrot.
Yeah, and
It's like
I'm
playing with
back
the cat.
here like deep throat, just sort of orchestrating from the back. I like it.
Wait,
Not
what now?
confirming that.
Oh,
Look,
damn.
all this talking about deep throat.
And that's why my brakes are going to fail when I leave this place.
Yeah, I just need you to stay here for a few minutes. I'm gonna leave and come back. It's gonna be fine.
Because people are always like, like, how come they're never these terms? Like, they're letting us have the easy surface stuff, all the shadow power. There's like, you run it.
I realized this years and years and years ago.
Mhm.
I'm like, man, I feel like there's a battery in my back.
What was the one that? What was the Chris Rock said in his one special? Tell your mama, tell your mama, tell your mama. No one ever tells daddy shit. It's always like, say hi to your mama. Hi, mom. Like when you go on TV, it's like an instinct, like, hi, mom. It's like, wait, hi, mom. Like, what about dad? Like, yeah, dad's there.
So I gotta ask Mark, like, so how would you respond if your wife walked in the door and was like, "Who's your daddy?" Like,
I'll be like, that's your band. What am I going to get for that? Is there going to be a reward of some type?
Pavlovian responses. We're back to deep throat.
Oh, goddamn.
Are you going to go get me some Cinnabons or something? I mean, what else up?
Is that what
Man.
daddy is? Is that?
Hey, for some Cinnabons, it can be whatever hell you want it to
I
be.
guess if we're sticking to the Urban Dictionary definition,
There have been so
if
many
something is
terms
good or
thrown.
beneficial to you, yeah, I guess the Cinnabons, that would be daddy. Like,
She can be all the daddy she wants as long as some Cinnabons involved. Yeah.
Oh, man, this hot pot is spicy. All right. Goddamn.
Good Lord.
All right.
See, my thing is this: I'm not one of them gender stuck on types.
Mm.
One of them, me drag knuckles. Yeah, right.
Screw that
I've been in the game too long.
This is about survival.
All right. Well, considering both Christine and Nick have gone at this point, D, what you bringing to the table?
I'm mad at everything. What you talking about? I wonder the detractors from the great movie coming out known as the Society of Magical Negroes.
Oh,
I like to punch all them in the face.
Shit.
The detractors. I was like,
Yeah.
look here.
We've been talking about that movie.
I've been on them all day.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Oh, you haven't heard about the
I
movie
no.
coming
Oh, yeah,
out? The Society of Magical Negroes?
I can't tell if that's what it's actually called or if
Yes,
it's
that's-
magic or
oh,
something.
That's the actual
That's
title,
the title
of
of the movie.
I
Yeah.
did.
What?
When I heard that title, I did this. Mwah!
it. Uh-huh.
Now,
Oh, yeah.
now we've seen the trailer. I don't know the whole movie. It could be a complete,
There's,
Oh, I saw the entire trailer. I know the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
movie.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, the movie is pretty much laid out in the fucking trailer. You know how it's going to
Boy,
go.
they mad as hell. I
Oh.
said, but you know me, I like stirring up shit on the internet.
Of course you do. Of course
And
you
I'm
do.
like, oh, what y'all mad for?
Okay, for a little context, why don't
Yeah.
you go ahead and let the folks know what this movie actually
Yes.
is?
Basically, this movie is about a society of magical Negroes whose job it is to make white people feel good about themselves, lest
Oh no.
the rest of us black motherfuckers get our heads knocked off. And I'm like this. I know 1,000 of them motherfuckers. 900,000.
yes, indeed.
And a lot of them were the ones who was like, I don't feel comfortable about this movie. I don't even know why they came up with such a movie. That trailer hurts my
I want to know
feelings."
how the title of that movie made it across the producer's desk. Like, yep, we're rolling with this title. Just the title alone.
It
What
has,
other, hold on.
It
What
has
other
A24
title was
movie.
they gonna go with, Nick?
You know, and something.
See.
no. That only works if it goes on BET.
You can't get away with that on BT?
Oh shit. Okay. This is kind of a spin-off question related to that.
Oh shit.
Okay,
oh,
so
shit, okay.
God, I don't even feel like I can say
See
that.
the Key and Peele skit of the same name.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Well, there's several.
But
of them.
the movie itself feels like A24 energy though. I mean, it's got to be
Yeah.
real. So I mean, that's automatically going to be a thing of, damn.
Yeah,
So,
like,
yeah, go ahead.
well, first off, I'm like sitting here like, am I even allowed to say that? But it's like, okay.
Use hand signal.
Yeah, so here, okay, so I have a related question.
Oh,
So there was some kind of interview
Mm.
that Samuel L. Jackson was doing once
oh yeah.
with like this white guy. He was like very much like polished in a suit.
Mhm.
I can't remember what the fuck they were talking about.
Okay.
But somehow the N-word came up, and that's exactly how the
Did
white
it dribble
guy.
out the gas mouth? Or how'd it happen? Did it go
No. It was literally he literally said the N-word, and then Samuel. No, he
Oh.
didn't say it. No, he
Okay.
said N-word, and
Uh-huh.
Samuel L. Jackson was like, "Hold on, wait a fucking
Oh, I
minute.
remember this
You
interview.
know what I'm talking about?
Yep,
Yeah." And he's
I
like,
remember
"Say
that.
it," and the white guy was like, "I am not gonna say that," and Sam's like, "Say it." And he was like, "I am not gonna say it." And at the end of the day, the white dude definitely didn't say it. But I'm like, okay, so like I'm curious about this because I think if I'm remembering correctly
Mhm.
in the retrospective was that the idea was that they were talking about some sort of very racially charged issue,
Mm-hmm.
and Samuel L. Jackson was like, I think why he was getting mad was because like, oh, there's this really big huge issue happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't even say the N-word. You act like this is the be-all, end-all when all this shit going on is really what fucking matters.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, like, I'm curious, is there, like, ever a situation where it would be okay for somebody who is not a black person to ever say that? Like,
A descriptive. That's how you can say it. A descriptive. If you describe something, like blah, 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 or a name, if that's the name, proper name or something, you can get away with it.
so if I go and I talk about the title of this movie, like,
Right.
I am not at risk of
That's
getting my ass
Negro.
kicked.
You can say Negro all day.
Oh yeah, no,
Can I
you cannot you cannot use the ER, you cannot use the RA. You can't use those, but Negro, that's
You
fine.
said Negro. People get caught up for that for thousands of years.
Oh,
now.
literally, that's
Yeah, you get away with
Negro
that.
is a different pronunciation of basically black in Spanish, if I
But
remember
you
correctly.
say you put that ER in there, you might as well just cut your own throat.
Yeah, like Negro, perfectly fine.
Fine
N-I-double-G-E-R.
I've always wanted to see a 60 Minutes interview where Mike Wallace goes, and I'm quoting, forgive them, these are their words, not mine. Don't do it, Mike.
Don't
Even
do
if
it.
their words, don't say it.
I know. Well, that's the thing.
Mike Wallace old enough to where he was saying it 1,000 times a day back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, it's like so like with the Samuel L. Jackson situation, it's like, I totally don't blame the white guy for being like, I don't care if I look like a pussy on camera. I am not saying that.
I mean, that's Samuel L. Jackson.
Because that is recorded. So even if that was done, if somebody watched the whole thing and saw that he was asked to say it, you better believe your ass that clip was going to be taken out of context. And they were going to mop the floor with this guy.
He probably thought Sam was tricking him. He said, if I say this, Sam going to beat my ass.
I love that the ghost of this white guy's ancestors, like, say it. And the other ghosts, like, of future generations, like, we want future generations, do not say it. The answer's like, we said it all the time. Like, that's why y'all ghosts.
Okay. Now, the funny thing, considering how charged all of those were, mine are going to look tame as fuck by comparison. But I'm going to go ahead and say a thing that I honestly have been really feeling those last few years.
Years? God damn.
Years, yes. I truly believe that fans of content are ruining their own content.
Absolutely. My friend would say, yeah.
I honestly believe that people are loving shit to a point where they are actively ruining it. They are actually because the fact of the matter is, and something I really have cottoned on to lately is content without passion is basically just content. Whereas content with passion is art. People love art.
You got a lot of people out there that's crack fiends for this content. I had a guy tell me one time that the fans own Star Wars. I was like, man, I wasn't aware you was getting dividend check. Can I get me one? Yo, the fans own Star Wars. Without the fans, I said, Star Wars existed before the fandom existed, don't you?
Most fans of Star Wars today did not exist when Star Wars came out.
I like it when you're saying that, Joe. I just keep thinking of Mice and Men, or like that thing. I pet him and I stroke him. I love him and they love it so much. It's like, I love him so much.
Oh, that's
it's like Elmira.
Or like the comic shop guys who will be like, oh, the comic industry is going to hell. I'm like, oh, no, the direct market is going to hell.
Yeah.
And good fucking written.
Well, Diamond's kind of done plenty to that in that regard.
And they had no problem with Diamond when that shit was going on now, did they?
Not a bit.
Diamond's the greatest thing on earth now. All we have to do is worry about this one guy. He can monopolize the shit all day.
For context, Diamond is the pretty much one-stop shop comic distributor. They basically have a monopoly on comic book direct market. Well, they used to have it, yeah, but like for a lot of years, they were the only way that comic shops could get comics.
Yeah.
Then COVID. Thank you, COVID. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. COVID did loosen that grip, and they are not able to get it back. And that is fantastic.
I mean, it's weird that, when you're talking about the content thing, fans, and this could be something that fans before had it, but maybe the internet is the variable, that they put so much of their identity and their passion into it that they lose themselves. It's like, so you don't like this thing? I hate you now. I'm like,
and let's not even talk about the misogyny. Let's not even talk about that shit.
The misogyny, the racism.
Same thing to me as it relates to dealing with people socially.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the sheer amount of gatekeeping, like, you have to, like name this such and such. I worked in a comic shop, and someone actually tried to challenge my credibility as a Spider-Man fan.
Bruh, Joe, you like a walking comic Rolodex. I can't even imagine somebody being like,
it happened at least 2-3 times a shift. Mark?
That shit be having me laughing. I'll be like,
But the thing is that they love it so much, and they're like, okay, then write your own story. And then if they write their oon story, then you critique it.
Fanfic. It's the same shit.
And then you say, like, well, this is pedantic. You just don't get my genius. Well, look who it is now. Look in the black mirror, my friend.
And here's the thing. Fan fiction on it by its own merit is
there's
not
a place for those people.
Fan fiction is not necessarily a terrible thing on its own, because fan fiction is where writers can grow.
They can practice their art.
People can become better writers through fan fiction.
Let's be for real. Okay? Stop these. As Andrew Jones would say, stop these games. Look here. If you don't study, you ain't never going to become a better writer.
I thought you were about to like slam dunk on fan fiction. I was about to get in a fight with you over here, Mark, and start beating on you with a mic.
Them guys ain't studying. They ain't putting no fuck. That's basically.
Whoa.
Here we go.
Whoa. So, as somebody who has consumed ludicrous amounts of fan fiction over the course of my lifetime.
Mhm.
I am just here to say that, okay, so you are not generating your own characters or anything like that, but I think there is certain practice that is happening. You are practicing the flow of a story. You are practicing, building conflicts, resolving those. You're borrowing some characters in the process, but, and don't get me wrong, I've seen some truly shit fan fiction out there, but I've also seen some truly shit printed fiction.
Yeah. For a lot of people do use fan fiction as a means of de-stressing.
I
So a lot
have
of
no
people,
problem with that at all. That's not my point. My point is structure. And a lot of that fan fiction I read that I've seen, it lacks. I'm saying it totally lacks structure, but my thing is this, right?
Mark, I'm about to fight you for real.
Well, we're going to be fighting then, because at the end of the day,
the hot pot's boiling over.
look, my thing with fan fiction, a lot of times, like I said, when I read the stuff, I'm not saying it's all horrible. Not that nothing could ever all be horrible. That's just the numbers. But for the most part, the fan, when I see the fan part, it is the fan part. It's like, oh, be great. It'd be cool. Like I read this fanfic, man. It had to be like 2-3 years ago, right?
Oh, okay.
So this was the fanfic, the Superman versus Goku fanfic, right?
Oh shit! There's a lot
I'm
of
reading this
those.
fanfic. I said, okay, all right, I'm gonna give it a chance. Everybody keep telling me to read it.
Okay.
I had no problem with the premise.
Mm.
I had no problem even with the conflict that they tried to create, right? But I didn't give a shit about them guys. Why? Because these guys had no tragic flaws. These guys had no wounds, no nothing.
It was an
Okay.
action
So it's
spiel.
Right.
so for in your Christine buttress.
I look at
buttress.
I look at it this way. It's like writing when writers have to write spec scripts. You're practicing. You're not.
Oh, yeah.
You're writing a spec.
Right.
Like you
Oh,
write
yeah.
a Doctor Who
But
thing.
so,
You practice structure. You practice dialogue. You know the characters. You know the
Oh, yeah.
universe well.
Okay.
And then you try to see what else you can add to
It's
it. And
all,
you create a
well,
spec
I
script.
put it like this, brother, right? It's a problem I have with a lot of people who want to become professionals in art, right? Or, I'm working with a guy right now. To remain nameless.
Okay.
This guy tells me, well, I don't follow any rules. I'm all about my passion. I'm like,
Oh shit! I
for
think
real,
I know.
dog?
Do I know who this
We
is?
ain't gonna even talk about who it is.
Okay.
I'm just like, for real, dog? Really? That's what you telling me?
Okay. So in order to avoid further.
Okay, but I still have one more point I would like to bring
yes,
up.
yes.
Christine, I'm all for it.
Yes. But to clarify, Mark, your primary issue with fan fiction is the emphasis is the fact that a lot of times in your experience,
Right, and
fan fiction does not actually exercise what is needed to
I'm
be
not
good
saying
writing.
that there aren't fan fiction that do that.
Okay.
There has to be fan fiction that do it.
Okay.
All right? That's just on the numbers alone.
Okay.
But my thing is that it's even like with the quote-unquote internet age, right? There are people out here who put out work, and because their work is seen in the masses, they want to be like, well, my work is just as legitimate as anybody else's. Hey, you can think whatever the heck you want to. It's cool.
Okay.
But don't get mad when somebody who actually has the numbers to critique that work critiques that work.
Okay, so to put it another way, it's the fact that people are more about the story than the writing.
They more about the fact
Effectively.
that they have a name for it, right? You've heard me use this term, vanity press.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that term?
I have not. What does it
Right.
mean?
Vanity press basically comes down to this, right? If we didn't, or like with us, if we weren't sticklers on structure and we just wanted to get our shit out there and put out ourselves, that's what they call a vanity press.
Okay.
And the problem I see, I'm gonna say problem, but if you're doing this stuff and you're just doing it, and that's what you do, I'm a fan, I'm having me some fun, cool, right? But I've often seen people try to move outside this zone and want to tell other people, well, your story's not this, that, and this, that, and this. I'm like, okay, let me check out what you're doing. What the fuck? Really, dog?
Because art is subjective. Like you look at it this way. Michael Bay makes a movie. It makes hundreds of millions of dollars. Michael Bay doesn't care shit about story. He knows exactly what he's very conscious of what he's. I think we've had this conversation before where he
wants to put mountains in mountains in the back of Washington D.C.
Well, no, I mean the other thing is, but he's very aware of what he does. There's this top 50 most powerful people in Hollywood, and he placed below Oprah, and he said, "Well, I bet if I had a couple more hot women and explosions, I would probably would have leapfrogged." He said it tongue in cheek, but he knows that's his shtick. So you know what you're about, and people enjoy the hell out of his movies. That's how they make money. It's not just one guy. We had a theory that one of our friends was watching Transformers over and over again for $1 billion, but that's not the case.
He probably did see it for $1 $1 billion times.
Right, if you think about that, but Michael Bay's in the industry. He has a name. He knows exactly what his thing is, and there are plenty of people that write spec scripts in when they're trying to break into the industry for competitions. You pick. I'm going to write something for South Park. I'm going to write something for Friends. I'm going to write something for a show. You are aware of the show. You try to put your own. I wonder if Ross and Rachel had done X, Y, and Z, and you write. That's a speculative script.
Script. What ifs, basically.
But you have to know the characters well enough, and you could even take a different take. Like, what if Rachel did this? Like, oh my God, I never thought about that. But like what Mark's saying, there's a way of putting dialogue in. There's a way of putting action lines. It's just guidelines, following the guidelines, so it reads professionally. But what happens is when people are just very passionate, it's just unfiltered. They just write everything down. It's like, I want to see Spider-Man fight Batman, and it's 69 pages. I purposely picked 69. It's 69 pages of just action, and then Spider-Man punched the wall down. And they're reliving the best action sequence, but you can't see it. And then you're like, "Well, why'd you get tired?" I'm like, dude, it's probably the best. I stopped at page 37, dude, because I can't.
I blew my whole wad.
Yeah, but it's 69 pages of the best action that would, go be up there with John Woo type stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, dude, but I can't. Dude, I'm not seeing it. I'm only reading it. This is boring, man. I can't do it, man, because I'm not you.
You're busting sawdust, son.
Yeah, and they fight, and then they fight again.
Yeah, so I mean that's
what
happens. And if it comes down to like romance, it's like, are you sure this is romance? So this is getting some. It's like
is it daddy?
Yeah, you're walking the line right now. I'm like, should I be reading this? It's like, and then the sweat dripped down, down into her bosom, her heaving bosom. Like, what the hell am I reading like right now? It gets better. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
I mean, it's all super descriptive, the entire thing, right? You just be like this, and it flowed at 13.9 miles per second.
No, and then what happens is you read this very detailed, intimate scene. And like, what was that? Oh, this is between two Holocaust survivors at Auschwitz. Like, what? Wait, where's the context? Like, I didn't even get that. Yeah, at the end, you just realize, I'm like, so all that other stuff where you're getting hot and bothered about, and then they were pulled apart when you realize the tattoos. And like,
there was a Say Anything song that was exactly about that.
So it's just like, and you'd be like, look, I get what was the last part? You kind of like glossed over that last line. Yes, they're in Auschwitz. I'm like, what?
Well, my thing
what was that? Why did you read like a porno in the first 49 pages.
It's like you got a mixture, right? Passion is part of that mixture.
Yeah,
and passion is what drives a lot of fanfic. So I'm all for it, right? But it seems like once they blow their passion wide, then it doesn't move.
Literally,
it doesn't move any further. You know what I'm saying?
But how many times have people of fanfic, like Mark's saying, have written something? They feel exhausted. You feel drained. You put everything onto the page. You're like, oh my God, you feel like you accomplished something. And then it hurts for someone to come in like, yeah, man, it's okay. You're like, what? How fucking dare you? I put my heart and soul into this. You don't see my genius. Like, yeah, dude, I get it. But it's untapped. It's a raw.
I live my life breaking the rules. Yeah. You fucking got to know them first, Jack.
Yeah, fuck your rules. Fuck your lines. Like, all right, fuck Tupac, fuck Biggie. I'm like, wait, where's this going?
Right.
It's just, but so that's why there are no real rules in writing. It's art. It's subjective. It's your own
guidelines, but you still got to know them to break them.
It's like if you're going bowling and they didn't put the bumper lanes on, you start pitching to other lanes. Like, dude, what are you doing? That's my ball. Like, there are no rules, man. You're just throwing like bowling balls at other people's lanes.
Is
like,
that you chucking bowling balls, son?
I mean, you can say, look, I knocked down all the pins. Those are strikes. Yeah, you're going to jail. Why? It's assault, man. You're throwing like bowling balls at people.
You hit my grandmother.
No, but that's why with fanfic, I don't really have a problem with fanfic, but it goes to that line what Joe was talking about where they're so passionate about the content. Then I think of like I Am Legend when he murders the dog. I felt so bad. It's just like when he's strangling the dog like that. I'm like, that's what fanfic feels like. They get to that point where they write, they care so much about it, and then if someone else writes another fanfic like yours sucks.
But
You don't get what I do.
There has
Really?
to be.
Because that's not really been my experience in the fan fiction community. Like, there's a lot of kudos and stars going around in
yeah.
AO3.
Like every aspect of the internet, there are the good corners, then there's the other ones.
Like everything that we bring up is anecdotal because none of us have the official stats. But if we go with broad strokes, there are a lot more bad scripts out there from professional writers than there are good scripts. And even amongst all the good scripts, what you see on the like Robert McKee would say, what you see on the screen is what was the good ones that made it. And we've seen some dog shit movies that who made this? Those were one of the good scripts.
It's like I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I was going to actually had a few different counterpoints I was going to make, but I'm going to land on this one for now. Is that we're talking about that we have this impression that fan fiction in general seems to have this high density of kind of very passionate, but shit works. But, the reality is that I think that if you were to sit down and look through a lot of print media, especially self-published stuff out there, there's an equal amount of shit stuff out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The thing is, with fan fiction, it is readily available at our fingertips. Like, you can literally finger through that shit, no problem. And so
a lot of fingering.
A lot of fingering. But, so you have a much larger sample size in your brain to work from. Whereas, with print media, it just, you don't digest as much of it or as quickly. And it's so... And you're also a lot more likely to zero in on things that are landing on bestseller lists and stuff like that. So we talk about this happening in fan fiction, but I would say that that is a problem that actually extends to many pieces of creative media, whether it's print fiction or podcast or whatever.
Music.
Well, the thing is that a lot of that stuff is fan fiction. If you really look at it, a lot of it is out there is fan fiction. Like, okay, just because some guy puts out his own comic or whatever, right? He's like, whoa, he didn't give a shit. He just tossed it out there.
Oh, and speaking of, D, that article that you posted the other day about the guy that tried to release his own sequel to Lord of the Rings?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah,
That's when passion goes wrong.
Yeah, look, he could have written the second. That person could have written the second or third.
He could have gotten a lot of really great internet traffic and made a lot of money off that. But he wanted to release the book.
Well, that's unfortunate for him. But it does highlight another point that I was thinking about is that we actually have derivative fiction all around us, which I think you were starting to get to that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's like, even think about like books like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pretty much every other remake of Dracula and Frankenstein that's out there. And I think it weirdly carries the slightly bigger badge of honor because it's derivative fiction of quote-unquote classic literature. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of fan fiction out there on our shelves.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yep.
Hell, anything based off of any Greek or Roman pantheon.
Yeah.
It's all derivative. It's all derivative of old folk tales. It's all derivative.
It's all fan fiction.
Yeah,
It's all fan
The
fiction.
world is a fan fiction.
I think even Dracula now is public
domain. Yeah.
Most of the Universal monsters are, if I remember correctly.
Anything that's public domain, and you can write your own story on it. And like I said, I have no problem with fan fiction. I have no problem with spec scripts. It's all about practicing your craft. But what happens, I think, a lot, it's a marriage between what Joe was talking about, where it's that threshold where passion becomes an obsession, and passion blinds you from creating structure.
Yep.
I'm like this,
enjoy
buddy.
the story that you want to tell.
You can eat your own. You can eat your own dog shit, but I'm not gonna eat it. That's the thing. I'm gonna probably.
That is
eat
true. I can very quickly.
And that's and a lot of that, and that's what it really just is tying down to. Like using the example of fan fiction. Yes, there is. Fact of the matter is, I know some of the prudest people have created some of the most diabolical ass smut that probably exists out there.
Smut to
There is-
you.
Exactly.
Art to them.
Exactly. But also, that's the thing. Everyone has their reasons and means for creating it because it is an expression for them. Now, the issue comes about when how they try to contextualize that expression.
Look, Jeff.
That's the core that of what I'm getting at, and why my take is that fans will ruin their own things quicker
And that's what
than
it gets
anything
back
else.
to. Jeff always has this. Jeff got this joke, right? He's like, I want to do a reality show where you take 1,000 Star Wars fans and put them in a room and tell them they're not getting out until they write the perfect Star Wars movie
that they all agree on.
that they all agree on. He said,
Yeah.
he's like, they'll be dead before morning.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When that love and that passion turns into obsession, when it turns into there is no other way for this to be aside from what I believe it to be.
That sounds like the fucking log line to a horrifying, like, romance horror movie. Like,
Yep.
You love me because I say you do.
I mean, basically every form of stalker thriller fiction is effectively that.
Right.
All of it. Like, really break it down to its brass tacks.
That's the feeling I got when the dude told
Uh-huh.
me that he owned Star Wars. That's
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah.
stalker feel. I was
Exactly.
like, oh.
Dude, that's totally it. It's like, so we take the movie It Follows.
Yep.
So we're going to do some derivative fiction here. It's It Follows,
Uh-huh.
but we're going to riff it so
Mhm.
that the person being stalked are, like, the creators of LucasArts, and the
Mhm.
thing following them are aggressive Star Wars fans.
Mhm.
Like, you just try to get in your house,
Yep.
and there's somebody just out the window, and you
Uh-huh.
just feel like somebody's following.
Mhm.
And I think that, and I think that'll
Yep.
work. We can do it
Yep.
as, like, a double feature with Jeff's plan.
Oh,
Oh, we gotta add another one there too. You gotta add the racist Star Trek fans.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even know
Oh,
how.
yeah.
I don't even know how that fucking works.
there is a level of there are authoritarian Star
Dude,
Trek fans,
how the fuck
and I don't know
you
how
gonna be a
is that
racist Star
possible.
Trek fan, dog? I still don't get it.
I did,
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, it goes to even
Gene
simple things.
Roddenberry didn't give a fuck about anything but white people. That was it.
no, Gene Roddenberry just had to put up with the fact that he could only get white people on TV.
Look,
Right.
I've seen like two examples that also I think Christine kind of touched on this a little bit, and so did you.
Mm.
Where when it comes to say comic book characters or
Mhm.
like video gaming, one example I saw, there's this young lady who's on Twitch,
Mhm.
and she was dressed normally, sweatshirt and all that stuff,
Mhm.
and she made some very cogent points. You could say like, yeah, that's a really good. You could put her in a circle of
I bet
comic
they
book.
tried to cut her head off. didn't
And they're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
you don't know what the fuck you're talking about." It quickly devolves, and it's like,
Mhm.
where the hell did that come from? Like, why? Just because your point was like, well,
Mhm.
I agree to disagree, and he'd never do that. Like,
Mhm.
how would you know? Like, you didn't create the character. Like,
Mhm.
I forgot the ultra details of it, but she made some. I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
what she's saying makes perfect sense. I would love to see that story. If they
Mhm.
explore that, that's a great point. And she said it so casually because she's a fan, or maybe if she's not
Luke
a fan.
Skywalker's going to be 60 and he's going to still be jumping around and doing all that shit he did back when he was 20.
Oh God,
And
the
I-
Last Jedi
right.
detractors.
But
Oh,
what
motherfucker.
pissed me off was that she said that. I mean, also said, "Look, I'm not a diehard fan. I don't know like issue number 73, what happened on page 7." But she still rattled off these story points, and I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense." And that's what pissed me off. So you're not a real fan. You don't know all that stuff.
Oh my god.
And then, so therefore, and then
Yep.
there was another the gaming example. This
Mhm.
lady, this young lady, she's a fan of Halo.
Oh,
And she knows exactly
no.
what she's wearing, but like she could be naked for all I care. That doesn't take away from the point that she's a damn good gamer. She knows the story point.
Mhm.
Now you can say, "Look, I wish you really want to put the girls on. You can do whatever you want. It's her channel. You're on her channel."
Oh, but
You can say,
Twitch,
well-
Twitch has been dealing with a lot of bullshit in that regard.
but the
lately.
whole point was like, look, if you can say, "Well, she's only doing it for shock value." Yeah, you can say she's doing that for shock value, but whatever thing, she made a good point. That
Mhm.
doesn't, you have to be able to
Separate.
separate
Yes.
them. If you want to be an intelligent, have a
Mhm.
conversation, you're like,
And-
"Well, she's what she's doing." Yeah, and you're falling for it if that's the case. But who cares?
But she's wearing a bikini.
Who cares what she's doing? Yeah, if she wants to wear a bikini, if she wants to put her tits out,
Mhm.
do it.
Might be hot in that room or
and, that,
something.
and
Shit.
like
no, that's real though.
Yeah.
Thunder boob splat is real. Like, I get it.
But that's I think what Joe's talking about. It's like these weird lines
Mhm.
where people like, I'm like, why are you the arbiter of like what's moral? It's the internet.
Like-
Oh,
like the funny thing is, like I could say a thing right now that I guarantee you I would probably get roasted over. Like effectively, Peter Parker is kind of a bad partner. He's kind of a bad romantic partner.
Okay.
And the fact of the matter is, it's fucking true. From a logistical standpoint, no matter how you break down his stories, he's kind of a crappy romantic partner despite his best efforts. He's trying to do better, but he's bad at it.
See, I'm not even a big Spider-Man fan. Like, I don't know
Because
the
his ass
depth of it.
juggling
Yeah.
too much shit.
Yeah.
But
And also,
Gwen
I'm
Stacy died.
a Spider-Man fan. I'm saying this shit. I would probably be skewered on Twitter over this. But the fact remains, just my having said that will trigger people in such a way, and trigger in the casual sense, not in the legitimate sense, in such a way that they will lose all reason and will simply attack.
I'm
I'm
unfollowing the Honeycomb Hideout.
Right. Or better yet, Joe,
Ebony wretch.
there's the thing that we talk about all the time
Mhm.
with black fans talking the shit they be talking in comics.
Oh, yeah.
How come ain't no black books? How come ain't never no? How come ain't nothing representing black people? Whatever. Hey man, I'm selling something that represent black people. Oh, it ain't Marvel or DC. Fuck
Yep.
you. I'm not
Like-
buying your shit.
And also, and you know what? And it's funny you mentioned that because I also have another take that I want to go ahead and toss out there. Storm of the X-Men, awesome character. Her leading a book on her own would not be that interesting.
I don't know. She's running hardcore right now, son.
She's hardcore, but she's hardcore in ensemble titles.
I want to see
She
her as the
works
conception of her children because I think that would be an interesting time with her
Look,
life.
she out here kicking so much ass these days. I'm tired of seeing her kicking ass.
But here's the thing: if Storm did have kids, have a family, she is still part of an ensemble cast. She's the lead of that book, but she is still part of an
So
ensemble.
then you got to ask yourself with that right there, though. That's an interesting point, right?
Mhm.
Engaged in white replacement misogyny. You want to replace white Spider-Man with Miles Morales, and he hates black women, strong women. You heard it here on Honeycomb Hideout. Joe, how dare you?
You're going to get Joe killed.
By the way, that is called satire, people. For those of you that can see me and also hear me, yeah, Joe's actually a pretty cool guy. I'm sorry, Joe.
Joe, we know we're going to get to the Jonathan Major shit.
Yeah, we
Just
are.
so you know,
Oh my
we
God,
getting
That's gonna hurt, but yeah.
Dude, I'm ready for that one.
there.
Yeah.
Hilarious to me. That's the whole deal.
He's, you know what? He's going to go the Robert Downey Jr. route. He's going to go to jail, go to rehab, or
He
whatever.
ain't going to jail.
And he's going to
nothing.
come back.
That's that shit. So what they convicted him for, that shit ain't even a misdemeanor.
Mm.
But, again, it was enough for his shit to get fucked up.
Mm.
You know?
Well, the worst part, I didn't expect us to get into it right immediately, but
But here we are.
here we are.
Yeah, fuck your shoulders, Joe.
What he did,
Fuck your shoulders.
what he did was terrible. Fact of the matter being, motherfucker caused harm to another human being, regardless of the context. That is a terrible thing. Should not have happened. Now, as a result of a thing that occurred, his career is effectively undone. He is a pariah. He will be a pariah for many years.
Wait, Mel Gibson's still making movies.
right. Long as
But
Spike
how long
Lee-
did it take? But how long did it take him to turn that shit around, though?
But that goes to the point that I'm going towards.
Go ahead.
Right?
Go ahead.
I'm going to be real with you. Them people white.
Hmm.
All right? And so,
yeah, his
having said,
ex-girlfriend was white. Yeah.
no, I'm talking about Mel Gibson and all that.
well,
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Robert
yeah.
Downey Jr. now.
Yeah, no, I was going to say something similar. Is
Mm-hmm.
like we saw tons of that shit, you know, from the Me Too movement and not Me Too related things.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there is this. When you see a white guy and he's you know an actor,
Mhm.
and you find out he did some crazy shit, you're like, he did some crazy shit, and you're like, well, he's canceled, and you kind of move on.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, obviously I'm saying this as a white woman, that I was having some very mixed feelings when I got this news because Jonathan Majors was so fucking cool. Like I loved fucking
Lovecraft Country?
yeah,
Yes.
you know my soul. I loved Lovecraft Country, and I was really excited to see him taking roles in Marvel. And there, admittedly, in my head, I was also kind of pinning some extra bullshit on him because I was like, here's this black dude who is starring in a lot of like big ways.
Yeah, he's on the rise.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
on the rise, and it's like you see it, and it feels more crushing because you're like, you know, here's this guy who's on the rise, and there's only so many of these guys out here, and it feels like it has much bigger ripples for the black community, and I'm like, or am I an asshole for pinning that shit on him? And you know, I don't know if like you guys were feeling any similar kind of way or what.
I let my wife do the talking, and boy, have I been listening the last 2 days. Her and my mama, my God.
Yeah, my folks had some shit to say too.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, hey, my mother had to pull out the Paul Mooney, and that's as far as I'm gonna go.
I will tell you exactly what my dad said when that report came down yesterday. Well, you know what happens when those famous black boys be messing with them white women.
So he at the end, so he got the end wake up call.
Oh no.
Hey, that's what my mama said. My wife said
That's
the same thing. Look like somebody got an in wake-up call.
Oh my God, this goes back. Deep throat, shadow of the world. Oh, it's all coming back around, y'all.
Yeah.
Paul Mooney talked about that in a lot of his stand-up about the in wake-up call.
Oh yeah. Because the fact of the matter is, no matter how big you are, imagine what would have happened if a similar thing happened to Denzel when he was young.
But see, this is the thing. Look, I'll be real with you. It's not anything against interracial dating or whatever. People do what they're gonna do. But can't lie about the history. Okay? And so you take a situation like that and you ask yourself, this is my whole deal, and this my mother brought this up, right? You get, and I'm just being real with you. All right? You said it's all about what black people, what we are taught to assume that success looks like. And for a lot of us black men, success means going to get your white girl.
That is true in a lot of ways. Like I will be the first one to admit, yeah, that is an impression that a lot of black men grow up with.
We know thousands of them.
Yeah.
It's happening in the brown community too.
Oh yeah. Like one of my favorite new YouTubers that I've come across, Foreign Man in a Foreign Land.
Foreign Man is the dude, brother.
He talks about this shit all the time. All of the innate
FD
racism and a lot of like that video. Yeah, FD Signifier talks about it too.
Bill. I'm talking all that stuff today.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. There are so many like ingrained isms within every culture, within brown culture, within black culture, and a lot of it does tie into, the tenets of white supremacy, is the way that white folks have been pinnacled, and they pinnacled themselves in a lot of ways. It basically has ingrained itself in a lot of these cultures, and to a point where the what's the term? Where basically damn it, why am I blanking on the word? I'm blanking on that word, and I really
describe this word you break it on, brother.
Damn it.
Let's play charades.
Yeah, let's play some charades. Yeah.
The effective bigotries and biases. They're actually import those into our own communities, so that we follow them against other communities.
Right, we follow them against our own community.
Exactly.
Mark had this one when I first met Mark. Within like the first year of knowing him, he ran this one.
That
test
was a very interesting year.
Yeah, he ran this test by me. He goes, "All right, Nick, do me a favor. What? Think of the top 5 most beautiful women in the world. Yeah, bet you the top one was white." And I was like, because you think Heidi Klum, you think of supermodels, you think of actresses that you know from the previous past, actors you know now, and even though there were non-white actresses in there, they weren't. 9 times out, it won't happen all the time, but there's a solid. You could go to Vegas and make a solid bet that if you go and pose that question, more often than not, you'll think like, "Oh shit, it's a white woman at the top." Only because you see, whether
transcendent cultural biases,
whether it's on a magazine cover, billboard cover, radio, TV, all the time. You just like reading storybooks, Cinderella, all the time when you were a child growing up. Brothers Grimm, just what we grew up in, because those are the books that are available. When you're in India, you're reading. You hear all the
thing that we all have been submerged in media culture. And media culture is creative for. I mean, what does media culture do best?
It brainwashes us, really.
Yeah, it's never going to happen just once. It happens over a script, over time. You go to kindergarten, you play with the blocks, you see like who are the kids characters on TV shows. You think of the books. It's like okay, you were playing Mario. Peaches. He's like, oh, little white girl.
You read comics, who's the A characters, B characters, C characters.
Right. Outside of Storm, you count on one hand who they are, but the ones that get featured, the ones that like the pinups.
But even her, if you look at it, she ain't busting up rocking no afros.
Nope. Most of the time, Storm's hair had. I can count on one hand the number of times Storm has had actually Afrocentric hairstyles.
I ain't seen her with no dread. I ain't seen her with
no
such thing.
Just once with the mohawk, I think.
But then that was straight.
Yeah. Even that was and that's one of those things where just it's it's inherent and transcendent biases.
And then you don't even have white people don't even have to do it. The thing is that the societies themselves, the culture, like for instance in India, fair is better. That's the natural thing. You know, you see South India, North India, and you get dark skin. They're like,
the black community fair is better.
Yeah, they have they actually have the fairness scheme. You see Priyanka Chopra right now, married to Joe Jonas, or one of the Jonas brothers. I forgot. I can never keep them straight.
And
All the famous Bollywood actors all have that fair and lovely advertisement that's on there. They don't want to talk about it now as if the internet doesn't exist. I'm like, yo, that's a 2000 commercial. This is a 21st century commercial. This wasn't like 1967 when media because that's the way it is. You go to any like Indian matrimonial stuff, they'll always say, my daughter's a doctor, PhD, blah blah blah, fair, tall. Like, wait, what was the last part?
My mother was telling me that my grandmother them used bleaching cream. That was that they used for their skin cream back in the day.
What was the thing? Like, you showed me the one thing about Atlanta, like Atlanta beauty products. When they go there, they're like, oh man, Atlanta, the capital of like black beauty products. And
it's
shit.
like the entire basically the entire prospect of fair, light-skinned, Caucasian being the default, the standard, the goal.
Look at the head of the NAACP. How's that guy always look?
And like I said,
they like, we gonna find the lightest dude in the whole black diaspora. And you, sir, will get to be the head of the NAACP. Look, Rachel Dolezal was gonna be the head eventually.
Oh, don't.
Like I said, the efficiency of it is it's almost like a perpetual motion machine. You just have to lay the foundation for it, and then just step back, and then it'll build on itself.
Yeah.
And then if there is going to be any kind of awakening or consciousness, then you watch and then they will tear each other apart. Watch them crumble as they undo the damage.
Because they've sowed enough division that even just trying to deprogram their own culture.
Joe, it's like they cloned Tyrone.
Yep.
No, and then and Mark brought up this really good point. And in a way, there's no answer. You always have to be consciously aware of it. Whether it's not just with obviously if you're dating anyone who's white, it's how would you know it's genuine? How do you know it's not part of the decades, centuries of program?
Part of the MK Ultra.
And you never want that thing in the back of your mind. It's almost like it's like one of those comic book things. Do I really love her? Or did they hypnotize me? Did like Dr. Doom put something in my brain? It's like, well, do you know you'll always love Sue Reed? Fuck you, Reed. Which is why that's another thing. Side note, how the hell is he the godfather of that? That I was like, that's some like Godfather type. That's like some movie Godfather.
Because Valeria Von Doom. Because here's the thing. Completely derailing just temporarily.
I love it.
Dr. Doom delivered Valeria Richards because Dr. Doom.
That's some Mark Dudley shit.
Yeah,
you want to get to the enemies? Raise the children.
Yeah, Dr. Doom literally delivered Valeria during Sue's pregnancy because Reed did not have the expertise needed because Valeria was it was a super pregnancy. That was the thing.
He knows the Avengers. He has his Iron Man on speed dial.
Not that day he didn't.
He has the best healthcare system while he went.
Not that day he didn't.
Well, the plane ended up in Latveria?
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, they actually had, if I remember correctly, they actually did have to fly out to Latveria. And Doom said, like literally, Doom's condition was that he get to name her. That's why she's named Valeria.
Not just name her.
Doom's
He's
mother.
the Godfather, dude. This guy gets to go to recitals and shit.
Yep.
Wait, does he go to recitals?
Oh no, Valeria loves
Doctor all the time.
Valeria loves her Godfather.
Uncle Victor.
And Reed is lost. I wish Victor was my dad. It's coming when she gets to 13. The moment she can't date anyone, she's going to say, I wish Uncle Victor was my dad. Done.
Actually, but the worst part is Uncle Victor would be even worse. Even worse to bring a boy.
It doesn't matter.
There'd be no date, no nothing.
I can't.
Not even a little.
That metal mask doesn't emote. That motherfucker would be smirking his ass off if he could. That'd be like a gif he would send. Like Reed. Hey Reed, remember the daughter said this? Eat a dick. I'm the number 2 guy, huh? Eat a dick forever.
He'd be a virgin till she was 50.
Also, I am still firmly in the camp of. I'm pretty sure how the fuck did Reed Richards land Sue Storm?
Because he was a Reed. What you mean? That's Reed Richards, son. Smartest dude, son.
Look, there's some fiction.
Reed Richards is also a terrible husband. Vaguely, he's a better father than he is a husband, but barely.
Well, when the Submariner trying to take your girl, son, I mean, what you gonna do? Take your wife? You know, ain't really much you can say. I mean, you know, I'm gonna get you, Namor.
But like I said, unless it's some comic book programming, like how would you know? And that's unfortunate because you want people to be happy. People can be happy. It doesn't matter, you know, what their ethnicities are. But the question is, how would you ever truly know? And then the other question comes into which sometimes. I will say this. I'm gonna
like bits of the racism in the LGBTQ community.
I'm gonna do a Lestat thing in Queen of Dan. I'm gonna let out some secrets in the brown community.
Oh shit!
That's gonna get us all killed. Now,
Get you killed.
yeah, well, I'm gonna take everybody down. So Mark's actually kind of brought this up. What Indian aunties, like the moms, are always considered the preservers of culture. That's the one thing when it comes to white women. They're like, yeah, you can marry them, but we're not. We're doing the Hindu thing. We're doing like the Indian culture thing, the food thing, and the dressing and the learning. We're going to go to the motherland, all that kind of stuff. In the languages, right? You're not going to have one culture bleed away because what tends to happen, unless the parents are cognizant, the extended families are cognizant, one culture ends up white. You know,
What did I tell our good friend Nick about culture? I said one day. Buddy, I said, you know, America tends to turn your culture into restaurants, don't you?
Oh, damn, yeah.
And that's the big thing. Like, that's the one that you have to be cognizant. Otherwise, you're fine. Look, I've seen a few of my friends now that have gotten into interracial marriages. One was Indian and Japanese. You talk about two conservative cultures. I'm like, I don't know how this happened. God bless both of you. Like, all right, so how's this happening?
They're not spending a dollar.
and both parents, it's like putting, am I supposed to say, put Japanese fighting fish? Like, you know, I'm like, oh, damn. They're like, so the grandchildren are coming to Japan for one summer, and then they're going to go to Bombay for the next summer. I'm like, hey, your kids are going to be well-traveled. so no culture's going to lose out in that
Those
one.
children are going to be cultured.
Like, both sets of extended families, like, they're going to know our culture. So I'm like, all right, man, hey, mazel tov, on you go. You know?
Be trilingual.
But that's not always the case. I mean, look, nothing's perfect, but I think Mark and I were talking about that. That's usually what happens, and that's the big fear. One culture, when it just kind of fades away within 2 or 3 generations. Talking about great-grandkids or grandkids.
Yeah.
So...
Uh-oh.
All right.
Okay.
We're getting close to time. So I'm going to bookend this with some procreation science. Since we're kind of on the topic anyway. All right. Actually, Joe, you got some of this. We talked a little bit about this after D&D. So.
I knew CRISPR would factor in here.
All right. So we're going to do some speed science, friends.
All right. Let's do it.
Combies, did you know that the kangaroo has 3 vaginas? And that the male kangaroo has a 2-pronged penis.
That's powerful.
What? Yeah, no, actually, it's really fun science. So I learned that apparently it's not just kangaroos; it's a lot of marsupials and Komodo dragons that have the 2-pronged penis. A lot of the reason for that is, unlike in mammalian, also human anatomy, where we have singular peni, they have a single testes hooked up to each. Like penis. So basically, if you run out of sperm, you have to switch over to your backup tank.
Not bad at all.
What? So that's what's going on with the 2-pronged penis. And then as far as like the 3 vaginas, one of them is actually ephemeral. It only forms when a kangaroo is actively pregnant. And what happens is you basically...
Is it an emergency exit?
It's not. It's just like bonus. It's like you grew an extra room, and you start out the pregnancy in your first vagina, and then as it grows, it progresses into your secondary vagina, and you can actually start a new pregnancy in the first vagina, and basically kangaroos can be perpetually pregnant.
This sounds like an episode of like HGTV. Like you have an add-on to the room, an extension.
Yeah, no,
that's some amazing shit.
You know what? Our needs have changed. We've grown. We've developed. We're going to need to move it from the secondary room into the tertiary room.
Oh, yeah. Other really fun facts
Put that shit on a t-shirt.
about kangaroo penises is their balls are also on top of their penis instead of below it.
What do you mean?
The balls are above the shaft?
The balls are above the shaft.
How is that? Isn't that like a vulnerability? Like, how?
I actually had that same question, but apparently no.
Oh, God, no shaft.
Yeah, no, there's actually a lot of Nat Geo articles talking about this.
Good old Nat Geo.
It was actually really hard to find pictures though, because I was getting those Google filters, even though it was purely for science.
But you found them.
Of course, I found them. Yeah, I'm a researcher.
This is why I can't be in government. I would approve all this funding. I would approve all these grants that come across my table. We're trying to research the kangaroo's prong peni.
Done.
Approved.
Done.
3 vaginas. Approved.
Yeah. Komodo dragons also have the 2 penises. But
Approved.
but yeah, the more you know. So
Komodo dragons. Oh man, I'm already scared of those.
They're just dangerous in general.
you say you don't want to grab a Komodo dragon by its penis just to see. Like,
There's so many things wrong with that sentence. Like, no, I wouldn't want to do anything. I don't want anything with a
Okay,
Komodo
now,
dragon.
Christine, that feels like
It beat
white
me
frat
and
boy
I'm
logic.
bleeding out.
And honestly, we need to calm you down, Chaos Goblin.
It bit me, and now that anticoagulant got me bleeding out.
It is never a dull moment in the Honeycomb Hideout Science Center.
That's
Oh,
right.
no,
That's right. We're
not
here
even
with
a-
all the best science.
Not even
That
a
is
little.
indeed
Hashtag
part of the
Dragon
best
Day.
science.
Oh god.
The more you know.
Yeah, last D&D session was interesting.
That is on the top of science.
How many dragons have
But-
Oh,
no,
peni?
but actually,
the
that
dragons have 2 of them.
actually that
Well,
was
that's how we got
well,
there.
Well, that was literally how we got there because I in our D&D game, I play a dragonborn bard barbarian who literally fucks somebody every time he goes to a new town. So the argument basically first it started off as, wait a minute, why doesn't he have a tail? Because apparently that was offensive
No,
to
I was
somebody.
trying to figure out if it was going to have.
Oh no, I'm talking about
cloaca.
Jamie.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, Jamie.
Why does
Jamie
this sound familiar?
Yeah, Jamie was upset that my character Torin does not have a tail.
Let me ask you a
And
question.
then we started talking about the fact that wait a minute, there was the assumption that Torin has a cloaca.
Yeah, because
Yes.
because birds and lizards are descended from the same ancestors. So I thought that it was very logical to be like, probably has a cloaca.
And I said no, my character has a fucking penis.
Christine is a must in every D&D group. Like, what is it? It's a shambling mound. Well, I don't know if it has one or not.
Yeah, they are literally dragon-born human. They're dragon-born humanoids. Why would they not have human genitalia?
You kind of glazed over one fact. Your character has to fuck someone that every time. Did you just
Whoa,
walk
he's a
He's a
bard.
bard.
He's
a
a
bard.
bard.
The reason I said that is this.
Uh-oh.
When he talks about this, I get JJ.
Oh yeah,
For JJ.
yeah, JJ. Because I remember. Did you?
Every
I am
town
nowhere
I go to, I got to put it in something.
Hey, I am nowhere near
I'm
as
just
bad
saying,
as JJ.
but he did it all the time.
Yes, he did do it all the time.
Did you
My
get-
character is literally a bard, and he has rock star vibes. And when he
Oh, okay, all right. I
Yeah.
thought you just do
Yeah.
like prison rules. You walk into a
No,
bar, carry on
no.
you. I'm looking at you. It's me and you. Like what?
AJ be
no,
like
but
this.
I'm not gonna lie though, there is a real strong muscle mommy in the most recent town. He's going after her at some point, but that's a whole other thing.
Well.
My God in heaven.
Yeah, but she's daddy.
She is daddy.
Oh dear God.
well.
Oh yeah, no,
Check
and, she,
that
and she's
out.
and she's already helping us out. So there's definitely I'm
She gonna
working
help
on it.
herself out too.
Actually, she just might. But she was drunk last time though, so I wasn't messing with that. Torin believes in consent.
Well, good for him.
Yes.
You dirty, filthy man, you.
Right, Joe. We gotta
You
shut the fuck
dirty
up. Other Joe is stalking the hallway, waiting for us to get out of this room. So like,
Yes. So we are going to go ahead and wrap things up here in the Honeycomb Hideout.
You dirty gigolo.
God damn the so this is the new hot pot. I kind of like it.
I didn't want that
Got a little-
tail, folk.
Got a little spicy up in here, and I
And
think
buttery.
that's
Don't forget buttery.
oh, it was plenty buttery, but it wasn't parquet.
It wasn't parquet.
So of course I would like to thank Blackie Jones, Mark Dudley,
Yeah, son.
and then of course old Waffle Daddy,
Yeah.
Nick Emmadi.
That, you know what? Happy New Year, everybody. I guess that's how we're ending
He
2023.
bear himself.
Thank you both for joining us. My co-pilot, the Scientist Supreme, Christine Kitchens.
I will be back with more penis facts. next episode.
Fantastic. You know, when you said hot takes, I thought you said hot cakes. That's why I was nervous. I really got flapjacks on the mind.
Flappy Jack is.
Somebody's hungry. And I was your Simp Master Thirst King, Joe Kane. Now get the fuck out.
Why you always throwing people the fuck out?
Yeah.
Fuck off!
Anything you want to add?
Okay.
Tell